I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Our next item tonight is the adoption of our agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the adoption or the agenda as presented.
Second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is adopted. Next is the adoption of our regular meeting minutes. First one being the regular meeting minutes from June 10th, 2026.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes as presented for the regular meeting.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those are adopted. Now the adoption of the work session minutes from June 10th, 2026.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes of the work session as presented.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Our next item is the consent agenda for the authorization to advertise for next month.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda is adopted. Okay, we have two public hearings tonight. No, yeah. First one, CUP 2026-0601, short-term tourist rental, 339 River Oak Drive. Request for conditional use permit for a short-term tourist rental. Property is located at 339 River Oak Drive, identified on tax map 35B, section 3 as lot H. Property is zoned agricultural, zone and located in the South River Magisterial District. Ms. Wall?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit for a short-term tourist rental to provide a high-quality, architecturally significant lodging experience that celebrates the natural beauty of Warren County while contributing to the local economy. The owners, along with the local property manager, will oversee all aspects of the rental process and property management. No previous conditional use permits have been issued for the subject property for land uses in the agricultural zoning district. The dwelling was constructed in 2020, and no zoning violations have been recorded for the property. There are 7 approved and active short-term tourist rentals in the subject subdivision. There is a health department operation permit approving a maximum of 4 occupants for the 3-bedroom dwelling. The property manager is located 21.6 miles from the property within the 30-mile required radius. A request for comments was submitted to the Homeowners Association at River Oak, who expressed their gratitude for the opportunity to provide comments and request additional conditions that prohibit renters from flying drones in the neighborhood, that renters maintain quiet hours from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m., and that renters abide by the speed limit of 15 miles per hour. The dwelling meets the setback requirement to adjacent single-family dwellings, the closest being 429 feet to the west. Planning staff is recommending the following conditions be added to this conditional use permit if the Planning Commission chooses to recommend approval of this permit to the Board of Supervisors. Number 1, the applicant shall comply with all Warren County Health Department, Warren County building inspections, and Virginia statewide fire prevention code regulations and requirements. Number 2, the maximum number of occupants shall not exceed the system capacity as determined by the Health Department permit per Warren County Code subsection 180-56.4b. The certificate of zoning shall only be issued with approved Health Department records. Number 3, the applicant shall have the well water tested annually for E. coli and coliform bacteria, and a copy of those results are to be submitted to the Planning and Health Departments. And lastly, number 4, the applicant shall have the septic system serviced every 5 years as recommended by the Health Department, and a copy of the service invoice shall be provided to the Planning Department. This public hearing has been properly advertised, adjacent property owners notified. I am unsure if the applicant is with us this evening, but I am available if you have additional questions.
Okay. With that, public hearing for this is open. Anyone sign up, Allison?
That's a good question, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, you've been busy.
Janelle Rivera? Did you wish to speak on this conditional use permit? Okay, then that would be no, sir.
Okay. Is there anyone in the crowd then who would care to speak to it anyhow? See no one come forward, the public hearing is closed.
I think the request of the HOA is actually a good one as far as no drones. But isn't the county quiet hours during the week 7 or 9 PM to 7 AM? And the weekends is 9 to 9?
No, I believe it is 7 to 10 on the weekends, 10 PM to 7 AM. I can confirm.
So this is a little bit different than that.
A little bit
Okay.
different. I believe they're asking for 1 additional hour of quiet time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that. I do see where drones could be issues.
I do too.
And
Maybe in the future, we might want to look at that.
add that as a permanent one.
Yeah.
Well, since. Oh. Sorry. Okay, I was told I'm not speaking into the microphone. Since the applicant's not here, is that something we could add as additional conditions?
Yes, we can add that if you would like to. And for confirmation, it is 10 PM to 7 AM and 7 AM to 10 PM. There are different that's for agricultural and residential.
Okay, so they're just adding one more hour.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyone prepared for a motion then?
When you make the motion, will you please add the condition?
Yes. Okay. I move that the planning commission forward this application to the board of supervisors with a recommendation to approve the conditional use permit 2026-0601 for short-term tourist with the conditions as recommended by staff and a speed limit of 15, no drone operations, and quiet hours from 10 PM to 8 AM.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye opposed? Ayes have it. It'll be passed on to the Board of Supervisors. I'm anticipating in about a month, but I'm not for certain. Our next item tonight, Z 2026-0501 zoning text amendment for data centers in the industrial zoning district. A request to amend Chapter 180 of the Warren County Code to amend subsection 180-8C to add a definition for data center and other associated definitions, to amend subsection 180-28D to add data center as a use permitted by conditional use permit in the industrial zoning district, and to enact new performance standards. Ms. Wall?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Attached, you will find a copy of a draft ordinance to amend Chapter 180 of the Warren County Code to amend subsection 180-8C to add a definition for data center and other associated definitions, to amend subsection 180-28D to add data center as a use permitted by conditional use permit in the industrial zoning district, and to enact new performance standards for data centers. This zoning text amendment application was submitted by Dan Doty on behalf of Rushmark Rockland LLC, owners of parcel IDs 12A-116-A2 and parcel 12A-116-A3. Warren County Code subsection 180-61A1 allows for any amendment to be initiated in the following manner. Property owner petition. By the filing of a petition to the zoning administrator, any owner or owners of land, contract purchaser with owner's written consent, or the owner's agent may initiate a proposition to amend or rezone. Such petition shall be addressed to the Board of Supervisors and shall be completed on a standard form provided by the zoning administrator, along with such accompanying documentation as may be required and accompanied by a reasonable fee to be determined in accordance with a fee schedule separately adopted by the Board of Supervisors. This public hearing has been properly advertised. The applicant is with us this evening if you have additional questions.
Okay, does the applicant have anything to add?
Good afternoon. Thanks for the time and considering this application.
Please
I-
give us your name for the record,
Sure.
sir.
I'm Dan Doty, and I represent
Okay.
Rushmark Properties, the owner of this land.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time and considering this application. I appreciate all of the commissioners' time as well as that of the staff and the county attorney. Our development site is located at the intersection of Rockland Road and Route 340. This is within the industrial and commercial corridor of the comprehensive map of future land uses. Since purchasing the site in 2023, Rushmark has designed an industrial warehouse park for distribution. We've obtained final site plan approval. We've obtained a road improvement plan, and we've secured water and sewer from the town of Front Royal. We accomplished all of these things with the purpose of creating a ready-to-go development site for an industrial warehouse tenant. So that we could shorten the time to delivery and get them in a fully completed building in occupancy as quickly as possible. There's been a lot of uncertainty in the industrial warehouse and distribution market the last couple of years. And for this reason, Rushmark has cast a wide net in terms of alternative uses for this very well-located site in a very great county with a deep, skilled workforce. We are proposing this zoning text amendment because we think this site is uniquely suited for data center use because of the attributes of this site, specifically the energy infrastructure that's already on site and adjacent to this site. There is a 500 kV high power transmission line running through this site. There is a high pressure gas line running through the site, and it is adjacent to the Warren County Power Station and associated substation to implement performance standards. These performance standards require our design to meet certain criteria prior to approval of the site plan and issuance of a building permit. But more importantly, these are ongoing performance standards. If it doesn't meet those requirements, the conditional use permit would be rescinded, which would be a big deal for any data center operator. These performance standards ensure that we deliver what we are promising, the tax revenue without the negative potential impacts that have plagued some other counties that haven't pursued thoughtful development. So what are these concerns? First and foremost is water usage. This has been well reported for many data centers throughout the country. Rushmark is proposing that we pursue air-chilled air handling units. We will not use any more water than an industrial warehouse that's already approved for this site. The water that is used on site will be for humidification, toilets, and fire safety, just like any other warehouse. We already have approval to use water and sewer from the town of Front Royal. We're not tapping into a well. We're not depleting the water table. Tax loopholes. What happens if this data center is leased or subsequently sold to a tax exempt entity? Rushmark has proposed a pilot in lieu of taxes whereby if any tax exempt tenant leased or bought the building, they would be obligated to pay the equivalent of taxes in the form of a payment in lieu of taxes or a pilot. This protects the tax revenue for the county. Generator noise and pollution. For a data center, generators are not run continuously, but rather they are tested approximately once per month. This would also be governed by the performance standards, which would stipulate the time of day that the generators could be tested, as well as the allowable decibel level that could be transmitted to the property line. Another concern, where there's one data center, more data centers appear. Warren County will be protected by both the performance standards that would be implemented as well as the conditional use permit. The conditional use permit is a discretionary permit, and Warren County has the power to confirm or deny any application. Fire safety and training. The batteries for backup power that are in generators are in 2-hour fire-rated enclosures. All of the fire suppression and pre-action systems are contained within the building, limiting any exposure for first responders or additional training required for those first responders. Power outages. If there's a power outage, would the presence of a data center make it less likely that power be restored for the community? Data centers are designed to run through power outages. That's why they have the generators. Many of them can run for days. Utility companies generally prioritize restoration of power first for healthcare providers, first responders, and then households. Security. Data centers house data and infrastructure that needs to be protected. They generally have more security than any other commercial building. Fiber. There currently might not be adequate fiber in Front Royal for a data center. This is a cost that would be borne by the data center developer through a contract with that fiber provider, and that cost amortized back to the data center over the lifetime of that data center. No cost is passed on to the community. Electromagnetic interference. All electromagnetic interference is contained within the building pursuant to code. This is accomplished by enclosures around cables and server racks and grounding systems to safely dissipate the EMI. There will be no interference outside of the building. It does not affect cellular, radio, electrical, or public health. This is compliance that's required by the Federal Communications Commission. Increases in cost of power for the community. This is one that's been well reported throughout the United States. To develop a data center here, the developer would have to execute a contract with Rappahannock Electric Cooperative that obligates me, the developer, to pay the cost of all distribution and transmission to the site of electrical power. So any upgrades on site, the substation on site that we would have to build at our cost, as well as upgrades to the power grid, would be borne by the developer. We would have a direct rate contract with the utility provider so that the additional cost of electricity would not be borne on or passed on to the community. Hazardous materials and glycol. Glycol is basically antifreeze. All commercial buildings use glycol to some extent in their cooling systems. Our proposal is to use no more glycol than any warehouse would use that's already approved on the site. We don't view this as an incremental risk. However, we consider all risks. And for this reason, we have warranties with the subcontractors who build out those systems. We have environmental insurance and a responsibility to remediate in the unlikely event that there is any incident or spill. Noise from air handling units. Our air handling units would be contained within the building, mounted directly on the server racks, not outside of the building. There would be a cooling tower outside of the building, and all of these systems are governed by the performance standards, which will require that we live within a certain decibel level. Want to apologize for not having presentation materials for viewing for everyone, but if you look at the site plan that we circulated, you'll notice that we have a buffer between the data centers we proposed and Route 340. So that's an approximately 20-acre parcel. It's currently undeveloped raw land. It's zoned for commercial. It's owned by Rushmark. That will serve as a buffer between the data centers and Route 340. And then in terms of the aesthetic, there's been concerns that data centers are, monolithic, soulless looking buildings. We pride ourselves on delivering something that's aesthetically pleasing, but the trend in data centers is for more windows, more vision glass, so you have light penetration for the people that are working inside of the data centers. Data centers are dedicating more space to galleries, viewing galleries for the engineers who interact with the servers and the client-facing teams, and less space for the server racks as the server racks become more efficient and require less space. In conclusion, no single project will achieve all of the goals of Warren County, but we believe this is an opportunity to unlock the intrinsic energy infrastructure value that is already on site in an area that is surrounded by other industrial uses and set back from Route 340. In short, this is the most logical location for a data center in Warren County because of the site-specific features that cannot be replicated at any other site. This is an opportunity for responsible growth between a developer and a county where we work together to develop performance standards to protect the community. This is also an opportunity for fiscal growth to grow the non-residential tax base by approximately $2.4 million in annual revenue, according to the fiscal impact analysis that was included in our application. To put a point on that $2.4 million, to generate an equivalent amount of tax revenue would require constructing approximately 1,500 houses. It would require approximately 2.5 million square feet of industrial warehouses. Whoever lives in those houses will require services. 2.4 million, 2.5 million square feet of industrial. That will generate approximately 2,300 daily vehicle trips, additional traffic congestion. These data centers will produce this tax revenue without any incremental impact on the community. Thank you for your time. I look forward to your feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Hey. Folks, one of the requirements here tonight is to act like an adult, and if you can't, we have representatives from the sheriff's office here who will help you. And I'm serious on that. Now, before we open the public hearing, I need to explain the procedures that's going on. We are tonight hearing about the framework for conditional use permit for data centers. In our work session, we identified several properties that could potentially fit within this. We are not voting on Rushmark per se right now. We're voting on the text amendment. Our vote is only a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. However we vote, they will have their own public hearing. If they vote yes, then we'll meet back again for Rushmark and whomever else. If they vote no, we're done. Okay? We are going to limit speech to 3 minutes. Highly request that if you have a point to make and someone ahead of you has made your point, with as many people as signed up to speak, you don't need to make the point again. Just say that I agree with whomever, because we're taking notes and we'll follow you. Sir? Sir, what I'm telling you is we're following state law. Anything comes before the Board of Supervisors and land use has to go before a planning commission first. That's our recommendation to the board. Yep. The board makes the decision and that's it. Also, one other one I do want to mention, the tax revenue that was mentioned here, that's well and good. However, as the planning